Well, hey everybody, welcome to the fucking Kush Show. It's good to fucking be here. Kush, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's great to be a part of Microdose 96, the Kush and Kai edition, okay? Always Kush and Kai. Whenever Kush and Kai's together, always Kush and Kai. Kush and Kai, Microdose 96. The gang is back. News so big, we had to come out of retirement. You called Dragon Zord, and your robot came out of the molten magma.
And then Kush just had to say, like, all right, we're forming. That's it. Yes. No, I got you. Mm-hmm. So, Oscar Isaac is playing Solid Snake in a movie adaptation of Metal Gear Solid. Okay. Did you play any of these games?
I played the original Metal Gear, the original American Metal Gears. Apparently, there's two different versions.
Wait, original Metal Gear on
8-bit Nintendo. NES.
Oh, that was the original OG. Kush just went old school. Holy cow. He just went old school on me. That was the OG of OGs there. There was a very popular PlayStation version that has spawned, I think they're up to like 7 or 8 now, sequels, but they're going with that.
I haven't played any of those games, but I've seen the videos on YouTube, and sometimes there's realism, like the spoils of war, and men going through PTSD and missing limbs, and then all of a sudden there's like a child riding a dolphin that's on fire. Like there's no rhyme or reason behind it. It's very surrealistic, the opposite direction.
It's kind of a lot, and then I mean, seeing where they're going, I would like this to succeed. Like many things that I enjoyed from a younger age, where it's like, oh no, that'd be great. But I witnessed a friend going through the Assassin's Creed version of this, where it was like, dude, this is going to be good. They got another, I don't know if he's an A-lister. He's like a B-pluser. That starred in the Assassin's Creed Redux that came out.
Guy who plays Magneto.
Right. That did not work out. And I just expect this to do the same. Sadly, I'm just like, this is not going to work. I don't know why. It's
live action, right? It's not like they're trying to do that bullshit with Final Fantasy.
It's full on live action. Okay. And I don't know why we can't make this happen. Like, it's a curse, I think.
I mean, it really depends on what direction they take with it now. Resident Evil is maybe the most successful video game franchise. Whether it's good or bad, irrelevant.
I hated those.
For sure. And those were a thing completely different from the game. Like, they tried to sneak in Easter eggs or shoehorn in some cases. But
I did not like watching any of that. That was uncomfortable. And listen, the only thing I liked when the laser tricked that guy when it was going to move and it cut off his knees, I chuckled. Other than that, it was like, this has nothing to do with the games. I don't want to continue with this. Like Resident Evil. I tapped
out of those too when Mila Jovovich started moving things with her mind in her sleep.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm out.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot. That is a lot to contend with. The Silent Hill one, I kind of liked because there were some ridiculous scenarios that they revisited. It was like, look at all the nurses in the basement. And they started doing a together maneuver dance like they were in the background of a Michael Jackson video. And it was like, all right, that was kind of fun. I'll give Street Fighter and your Mortal Kombat's the credit for being like, well, this was ridiculous and it's kind of fun to make fun of. But that's not actually liking a thing. Like, I would not support those as a thing that you should do. Those aren't good. I would never point anyone at those. So that is a problem. Anyway, let's get to our biggest news. Kush, this has been threatened. It's been
looming on the horizon.
Movies would just come to your screen in your house and you wouldn't have to go out to seek them. They would just show up there, and why would you ever go to a movie theater again? Warner Brothers via HBOMax, which I forget, I think HBO or the media group AT&T owns both of those. Neither of them are in name on the thing. But Warner Brothers announced they're going to make all of their 2021 releases available via HBOMax, which is huge because there have been so many long-standing contract negotiations and stipulations that it's like, this will be in theaters. Do you remember like how long it took for like a VHS to get to market?
Yes, well, over a year in some cases. Over a year.
It was like more than a year.
Yeah.
It took a long freaking time, and the delay being reduced to it will be in theaters is almost unimaginable. But the CEO released a statement saying we're doing this as a loss mitigation thing because theaters aren't happening this year.
No one's going to the theater at the end. Yeah.
They're reacting. So they're like, let's grow this one business. So in that way, I'm like, it's smart. You know what I mean? Like for them, because otherwise it's just they're fighting against the rest of the tide of, dude, I can't even name you how many movies that have been pushed back that are like, oh no, we're not doing this. We're going to do that later. But
I stopped keeping track like after May. Once Fast and Furious 9 got struck, I was like, yeah, everything else. Like the things that did still come out, whether it was like we're going to be on drive-ins now, like I'm amazed those even got released.
I'm shocked, but they in their own way have been testing the waters, much like HBO. But just seeing like MGM, which sad for them, they just have the Bond franchise, and they're like, they were trying to shop it to places, but it didn't work out. This move by the Warner Media Group and HBO is an affront to them, where it's like, we're just putting it out. You're going to have to sign up. And I have to say, it's not a bad deal per se.
I mean, it's a 1-year plan. So they're like, we're just testing this out. We got to get this stuff out. We can't just sit on it anymore. And we still have to make new stuff on top of that. So
for sure,
this is just an experiment. It's definitely with the intentions of getting their subscription base up. And looking down the list, there's some exciting stuff on there, man. Like,
what do we got, Kush? Hit it off.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, but we actually have a Mortal Kombat reboot coming to us in January.
Yeah, we do. Dude,
who knows what that's even going to be like? Who knows what it's even going to be like?
It's crazy.
It's
a Mortal Kombat reboot.
It's a completely, when I say it's a completely different cast, obviously it's not the same actors, but it's also like they're going for all the realism in this.
Yeah, I don't know what that even means, because Mortal Kombat, like, realism and what the fuck are you talking about? I'm excited. Mm-hmm. I'm going to watch that shit. I would like to see it. Also, Dune. We got to talk about Dune for a sec. Mm-hmm. They're doing this. Like, this is coming out. Even though The Mandalorian went ahead and said, like, fuck you, we do sandworms. Fuck your shit. Like, Mando just laid that dropping on your doorstep and you have to live with it, where it's just people are inside. But Matrix 4 is looming, which normally would be the kind of push that this would do would be like you would get Burger King toys. There's jingles with ringtones. Like, they would hit all of the avenues. But
Matrix 4 was due this Christmas.
It's coming, and I think it's next. I think they
already did principal photography in San Francisco 2 months before the COVID happened. Like, I want to say January, February, and I remember that because I remember going, "Ooh, I'm going to put in my name to be a background extra." And they didn't call me. And fuck that movie.
They already, with 2 movies, really showed that it was like, yeah, we're just sort of going through the motions. I have no idea what they could show us about that. However, I would like to see this movie because of that factor.
It'll be fun nostalgia factor. We'll see who they're replacing the old cast with.
Who is coming back? Yeah. It's like, hey, Kai, did you touch the hot stove? I did. Yeah, you should learn not to do that. And yet I am reaching back in to lay my hand on the blazing heat that will burn me in terms of, oh, wow, you did that so well. Anyway.
Obviously, Godzilla and Kong hopefully will be a lot of fun. It'll probably be better at home than in a theater with a bunch of assholes.
How is Godzilla going to fight Kong? Godzilla is much bigger than Kong. Like what the fuck are we talking about?
Well, Kong's the underdog then.
Does he have to grow in size? Like, this is a known issue. For the last one, I think in that first one, Kong had to be irradiated and then something happened. But no, I'm just saying, like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? This
has been a plan for 6 years, so...
No, and it's based on there was a Kong versus Godzilla, and I watched that, and you're like, the sizes are off. Like this is not. Anyway,
well,
okay,
I wouldn't get too wrapped up in it. It'll hopefully be a lot of fun. Conjuring 3, that would have been exciting this summer. We'll get that in June. Yeah. Obviously, Vera Farmiga, the first lady of Kush and Kai.
Oh yes.
Space Jam. I'm very, very skeptical about Space Jam 2. It's wildly unnecessary. I don't know why we need it.
Everybody is. No, yeah. I don't know what you do because the person making it is not Michael Jordan. I don't know that you can summon a kind of good story out of it. Like, I don't know where it goes, but they got what's his foot? The
LeBron.
No, not LeBron. LeBron got the director of Fruitvale Station, and
oh, really? Okay,
yeah, he got him to consult on the script.
Ryan
so I'm
Coogler.
Like, oh, exactly, the Cougs. I'm like, oh, okay. What are you doing?
I got a feeling Ryan Coogler directed as much as Space Jam 2 as Steven Spielberg directed Ready Player One. There's 15 minutes of live action, and everything else is the cartoon. Yeah. A big cartoon. The Kush Hayes comes on August the 6th when the Suicide Squad drops.
Oh,
now I did not see the last one, but it went on to gross nearly $1 billion and collect an Academy Award.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Yeah. James Gunn is directing it, so it's got a lot of pieces in play. You've already mentioned Dune, but November 5th, this is when HBO Warner would start swinging for the fences with the Oscars, and the Elvis Presley biopic is coming.
Oh.
You're going to have an unknown play Elvis, but guess
an unknown. Oh, who? Wait. James Brolin.
That's not a bad guess, but no.
No. Who is it?
Your man.
Josh Brolin, sorry.
Tom Hanks.
What are you talking about?
Tom Hanks is playing the Colonel.
I don't want that because the Colonel is bad. The Colonel is bad.
Yeah, well,
no.
Tom Hanks is going to be bad too. He's going to do naughty shit, Kai.
How many roles can you name where Tom Hanks played a bad guy?
Just The Road to Perdition.
Yep, that was in my top one, and then the other one is in
which is a great goddamn movie.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. Another one he was in that wasn't good was The Lady Killers. He was a bad guy.
Oh, that's right. He was a con artist or something.
Yep, that movie is bad. That is tedious, and
it didn't look good.
J.K. Simmons is in it with IBS, and they use it to very poor comedic effect. But that is a bad movie, and he's a bad guy in it, and no one should watch that. That should be forgotten.
Well, Kai's clearly sitting out the Elvis movie, but 3 weeks after that, we got something to tempt his game. Will Smith is going to play Richard Williams, King Richard, Serena and Venus Williams' father in their biopic.
100% in on this. Yeah, I will watch this. Even if it's bad, I am game there.
Will Smith is going to bring his A game in this. He's coming for that Oscar that he didn't get with the football movie.
If that doesn't work in the Oscar race, should play Tiger's dad.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I like that.
I think that would work. I almost said Tiger King. Tiger King, his name, but that is not it. It's just how it goes. All right, Kush, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready for a pick a pitch?
Oh, previously on Pick a Pitch. Chuck Norris is old man. He's not doing too many slams, but he is kicking fools in the face. So he would need to be like Dutch, Throbbing Shaft or something. It's going to be the feel-good movie of the year. It's going to be one of those few movies that runs the entire summer, and I'm talking summer from April all the way to October. And when it does eventually go on home media, VOD, etc., it's still going to come out once a year in the theater for Independence Day.
Pick a pitch.
Hold on, I had no idea. Give me a second here.
All right, get ready. He's standing up. He's straight. He's stretching. He's getting into form. He's ready. Oh, there's a Kush belly button. I saw it. It exists. Okay. All right. So Pick a Pitch is a list of movies that are ill-conceived or probably a bad idea created by me. And this is Kush must pick which one would do the least damage to the studio.
Okay.
But in this case, this comes from, we learned that there was a movie, a Marvel movie, I think it was one of the Guardians ones that was canceled, but it had a $371 million budget.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
For sure.
And so we had a conversation about, hey, if you had $371 million, what would you make? And so I have prepared three. There are three options here for a $371 million movie. All right, the first one.
$71 million worth of pudding.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So the first one. This movie has been kicked around a lot. They've tried. There have been issues with it. It's been abandoned before. It's been turned into other things. But it is a classic. Don Quixote.
Okay.
That Spaniard tilting at windmills.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot to be learned about his folly, about the recompense of not understanding the real dangers versus the perceived. There is a lot of sarcasm, but I don't know if the audience would get it. Anyway, Don Quixote, we're doing the full-on, we're doing the book. Not your take on it, we're doing him going at it. You got to get all the set pieces. It's going. Don Quixote, that is option one. Option two, this hasn't been done, and I don't know why, but we could use a George Washington movie. Now, I understand why it hasn't been done. There's a lot of interpretations on his life or the focuses, but I really kind of think that modern Hollywood has been shooting this down because he did own slaves.
There's going to be slaves involved for sure.
Even if he did right, where it's like, this is A, an inefficient system, B, this is dehumanizing, he actually never freed any of them. Like, even in his will, and he promised some of them he would, he did not do that. So it does go against your record. Mm-hmm. It does. Mm-hmm. But his story is inextricably linked with America. Like, his story is so unlikely because everybody, if you haven't gone back into the history, he should have died at least 30 times. He had a preternatural belief that he had divinity flowing through him. And he would stand in the battlefield when cannon fire was going off saying, God has touched me, like the bullets or the cannonballs won't hit me.
Fascinating.
So much so that opposing artillery commanders would not fire at him because they believed that.
That's great.
They were like, this is a waste of ammo because he is standing out there. It will not hit him. And miraculously, it didn't somehow, despite many people getting mowed down by artillery fire. So there's so many opportunities. The flight from New York, getting away from those British generals, and then doing the, like, escaping into the backcountry and then reattacking on New Year's Eve in New Jersey. There's so many different pieces. It's like you would actually need a budget of that measure that was like, you have to do the full, you're in the field shooting this. So option 2, I think the Washington movie, just from his start as a slave owner, I really think that could be a thing.
You're really loving the George Washington thing. What's option 3?
Option 3, we're moving on. So option 1 was Don Quixote. Option 2, Washington movie. Option 3, I think I've brought this up before on the pod, but I will just submit it here again.
Please.
Kush, we're going with Marvel. We're going with The Brood. Are you familiar?
I want to say I am, but I'm just going to say no, I'm not.
All right. For everybody, The Brood is this alien race of insectoid creatures that take over by, I don't know, I think, in some comic iterations, they do that alien-esque thing where they implant your body or they just eat you or whatever. Like, The Brood showing up is a problem for you and your species. Like, you can run or just be eaten or used as reproduction fuel. It's a problem. It is a fucking problem. So Marvel, and I think this could be an alliance type movie. It could be more than that, but because this originates from the X-Men. That's where they mainly dealt with it, but maybe it's Avengers-esque. Like Captain Marvel could probably deal with this in an afternoon, but she's unavailable. She has shit to do. Captain Marvel is on her own schedule, so sorry. So the X-Men will have to lower themselves to deal with it. But The Brood, this builds into, there is a stream of asteroids coming, but the main one where the Queen is there, it will take over humanity. It's a xenomorph party where they're going to come in and embody your chest then come up for other things. So the Phoenix has to supercharge Wolverine with the adamantium to destroy it, but he will be killed. And I think that is the time that we see him going. Anyway, even though we already didn't, it's X-Men. They're like Pez. They will just be expended and spent again. Okay, so Kush, we had option 1, Don Quixote, the movie. Option 2, Washington, the movie. Or option 3, the Marvel, The Brood, where they come to Earth. What is your pick here?
I can tell you I'm definitely not feeling The Brood. I would like to do Don Quixote, but if I have to stick to the original book, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to take Don Quixote in a far out spot, man. Like, I want to take it to the future.
What are you thinking?
I want to take it to the future. I want cyborgs to be involved. I want
huge Quixote. Oh my gosh, I like this. Oh wow.
But we're going to stick to the parameters of it has to be stuck strictly to the book. So we're not doing that. So I'm going to go with George Washington.
Oh my God! Number 1 getting the pick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here's what I want to do. I originally wanted, as you're laying all this out onto me, and I had no idea how little I truly knew about George Washington, slaves aside, that is. Like, I wanted to put John C. Reilly in there, but that's a bad idea. That's not a good idea. That's definitely going to lean into the comedy, but I want this to be dramatic, and I want people to show that this man was mentally ill. I want him to still have those things where he's still like, I am immune to your gunfire and your cannon fodder on the battlefield. So I want...
You believe that?
I want Michael Biehn to be General George Washington.
Yes.
I want him to be the first president of our United States. And I want Kristen Wiig to play Martha Washington.
Holy cow. And Martha was holding it down there. Like, that's a good pick. And I gotta say, John C. Reilly too wouldn't be bad in that role. I have to say, yeah, no, he would be there.
I would want to bring in your guy Paul Giamatti to reprise John Adams, and then this is a $371 million feature. So not all that money ain't going to Biehn or Wiig. I'm no offense to either of those parties. It's just they're not the most expensive thing here. This is going to be a lot of war. There's going to be a lot of cannons, explosions, I want
Yep.
Michael Bay to helm this thing,
Yep.
and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. It's Escape from New York. It is the Battle of New Jersey. It is Battle of Brandywine, and then some spy stuff, and then Yorktown, which is mostly there's some shit going down where you're probably going to get hit in the head with a cannonball, and those early horrible injuries. Pick a pitch. But Kush, I'm so glad that you chose that because I agree. I agree. Out of those, like that is the pick. But damn, dude, that's what I got for this episode.
That's what's up. I think that's good enough. It's been one hell of a return microdose, my man. We talked some HBO. We talked the future of movies being changed. We did a pick a pitch.
Good shit, Kush. It's so good to be here. Good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too, buddy. So, folks, if you've ever paid attention, you know that at any time there's a Kush and Kai microdose. Sometimes it's scheduled, but usually there's a Kush and Kai episode to follow. This one is actually no different. Please keep a lookout. New Year's Eve, where episode 52. That's right, one Kush and Kai for each week of the year. We're going to be talking about the Netflix series, The Queen's Gambit. I cannot be more excited about this.
Hello. Of course. Thank you, everybody. I love you. Take care and wear a fucking mask.
From the Bosnet family.
Fuck you. We do sandworms.